What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 59 of the LARNE project here in Football Manager 2019. Today, it's April 8th, and we're taking on Glenavon. It is the Irish Football Association Challenge Cup final. You can see it on here, I don't know why I'm saying that aloud. And, well, it is our big rivals domestically. As you can see here, we have wrapped up the league, but they are pretty much the big threat now between ourselves and Silverware. You can see Ballymena and Glentoran, two other Premier Division sides, facing off in the other semi-final. We will meet the winner of that game in the kind of last game of the season. But yeah, obviously we have somewhat recovered from the disappointment that was last episode. If you missed it, go check it out. Against Galatasaray, losing on penalty. Since then, we have acquired some silverware and we've got some good results in the league as well. You can see in the Iron Brew Cup semi-final, we won 4-0. Bannon, Lille and Sissoko with the goals. Following on from that, a game against Portadown, Glendining with a goal. It was a weird goal at that. And then Stevie Pestridge from the penalty spot made sure we got the win. It was a very dominating performance. Definitely deserved the win. Portadown, one of the smaller teams in the division, so great to do one over on them there. Following on from that, two pretty disappointing results in truth. 2 0-0s against Dungannon Swifts and Newry. You can see the fixture congestion really hasn't been a problem, so I can't even use that as an excuse. Just, I don't know, 2-day games where we were very solid defensively, but we just weren't at the races. I mean, you can see here we were the better side against Dungannon Swifts. We have had a little bit of an issue with injury. The injuries haven't been long-term ones, so that's been kind of the blessing, I guess. But you can see over the course of March, Glendining got injured, Dixon got injured, Justin Wright got injured, Pestridge got injured. They're not super long-term, injuries here, but they kind of added up, and they did, I think, contribute perhaps to the lack of goals across those two games. Anyway, the game following that was the Irish Cup quarter-final. We won this one 3-1. A good little performance this one. Newry defensively were very, very poor. It was actually a quite tight game. It was 1-1 for a long period, really, and we weren't ahead for too long in the game. It took until the 40th minute for Sissoko to break the deadlock. They scored back on us. And then two late goals. The first by Jared Glendining, who then went off injured. And then a third goal by Ryan Marshall to make it 3-1. So, yeah, all in all, it was an okay performance. I mean, the important thing is the win. And off the back of the 2 0-0s, it was very, very good. You probably sat there wondering, Ryan Marshall, not heard of this guy. Yeah, valid. This is a player who we signed, actually, at the start of this year from Wrexham for £125,000. And he's kind of just been sat in the reserves. And he's been scoring a few goals in the reserves, but not playing a great deal. You can see here, 6 goals he scored in games. But then I was like, well, we have Glatzel in the first team. How does he compare to Paul Glatzel? I mean, you can see how he compares here. He is just a better player in a lot of areas. So that spurred me to promote him to the first team. And then I started thinking about, well, I wonder how he compares to the other player we, of course, promoted from the youth team, this year. The other striker who we can find. Where are you lurking, my friend? I'm going to find him. Where is he? He's hiding. John Morgan, of course. Obviously, another player who was signed, again, from another Welsh club in the New Saints. It's kind of interesting, actually. John Morgan signed from the New Saints, an English team who play in Wales. And then our Welshman signed from a Welsh team who play in England in the English Football League in Wrexham. But yes, these two guys, if we just actually compare them, again, you could argue that Ryan Marshall's got the edge on him. So it kind of just made me think, maybe we should give Ryan some game time. It's what we've done. And to be honest, thus far, he's looked pretty good. And apparently he has a lot of potential. So I want to continue to give him a bit of game time to see what he can do. Anyway, the most recent league game was a 2-0 win against Linfield, which was good. Lille and the Iron Man himself with the goals in this game. Very convincing performance. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Lille, and then obviously great for Robert Downey to get on the score sheet as well. And, well, you might have noticed I missed out one game. The reason for missing it out is it was the Cup final. It was the Iron Brew Cup final. And we took on Queen of the South, the Scottish Championship side. And it finished 4-1, as you can see here. We ran out victors. A very convincing performance, this one. We were 4-0 up at half-time. They did score a late penalty. But, well, we got off to a flyer. A horrific mistake at the back, as you've just seen. Gave Justin Wright an easy way in. Then a bit of a scrappy one. A set piece not fully cleared. Simon Carlisle bundled it over the line. Stevie Pestridge, doing what he couldn't do in the Europa League whilst under pressure, scored from the penalty spot in the 37th minute. And as I mentioned, we were 4-0 up at half-time. It was Justin Wright with it, doubling his tally for the match. And all in all, just a top performance to win this competition. We're not going to complain about that one little bit. The fans very, very happy. And ultimately, it's a piece of silverware that's eluded us for a few years. Anyway, we have got the Irish Cup semi-final today. It's against Glenavon. It's not going to be easy, but I don't know. I back us to beat them. As I mentioned, we have wrapped up the league, which is great news. Just in terms of the finances, some people have asked about this lately. 13 million in the bank. Wage budget, we are committed to spending basically half the amount of. We're currently spending £90,000. A lot of that is obviously the Sissoko loan, as well as a number of players just in the team who have contracts expiring at the end of the year. And another thing that some people have asked me about is my manager profile. So we'll just have a look at that real quick. You can see here how it all lays out. Well, I mean, we have a pretty good record all in all. We've played almost 300 matches in less than 5 seasons. We're averaging way over 60 games a season, which is pretty mad in the grand scheme of things. But yes, things looking okay here. Media handling and team discipline handling, not so great. The team discipline handling is massively hit hard by the fact I have players constantly asking for transfers every transfer window. We kind of go through this cycle. Every January, every summer, you know, a few championship teams, a few Premier League teams look at our players. They get unhappy for a few months. I tell them they're not leaving. They request transfers. They request to be transfer listed. I reject those requests. And, well, ultimately, it gets to the transfer window deadline day. They've not left the club. Windows slam shut. And within a few weeks, they've decided they're happy to stay at the club. It's kind of the circle of life here at LARNE, or the circle of LARNE. Perhaps we should coin it. But yeah, there's that. I have actually made one signing who's going to be joining us soon. Mark Wallace from Dundee. You might be wondering, wow, this guy looks pretty good. He does look pretty good. He's a striker, 16 years old. Plays for Dundee in the Premiership in Scotland. You can see he was relegated. I should say Dundee United because there's 2 teams, so I apologise to all the Dundee United fans out there. But you can see here, he's got 6 goals in 30 league games in the top flight, which is absolutely superb for a 16-year-old. Also playing, you can see here, for the under-21s internationally. That was how he initially came onto my radar. And yeah, I really like the look of the guy. It's a shame about his personality being unambitious. Maybe we can solve that. It might be a little bit tricky given our lack of older players, but nevertheless, he looks like he could be a potentially quite tasty prospect for the future. Anyway, let's get into today's game, shall we? It's against Glenavon. It's not going to be easy away from home, this. I cannot stress that enough. They have a very good team. In terms of our own team use, Kenny Dixon and Glenn Dining coming back from injuries, so they have done fitness tests. They both could play if we need them to, and we kind of do need them to play. Jared Thompson has also been out injured, but he can play today. But given the fact he's carrying that injury, I'm actually going to bring in Adam Cockbill, I think. Cockbill, to be honest, has improved a hell of a lot. And actually, I should mention this. Our goalkeeper, Robson, has also been improving a lot. To the point where I feel like we have 3 goalkeepers now who don't have a great deal between them. I mean, you can see Cockbill and Robson compared here. Again, they have different strengths, but in terms of the actual raw difference when you compare them, there's not a great deal in them. And then if we just throw Jared Thompson, I guess, just into the mix here, alongside Robson, again, you're going to see that there's just not a great deal between them. I would say that Jared Thompson probably does have the edge in total, but Robson's aerial reach here and physicality can't be underestimated. And I guess it's a good problem to have when you have so many good goalkeepers. Of course, we sold a foreign goalkeeper at the start of the year in Grant to Celtic. And our 3 remaining keepers, all British, have kind of just stepped up to the plate. Anyway, let's get into today's game. In terms of their team, they've of course got John Morris leading the line. This guy has been a constant thorn in our side. They also have our former player in Rory Jarvis, who is a great little striker, has been in fine goal-scoring form for them. We need to be wary of them. I'm trying to think if there's any other players here we recognise. I think Marsh was another one of our former men. Yeah, you can see here we sold him for 83,000. I feel like when we played them earlier on in the year, he made a horrific mistake. So maybe we can have that happen again. That would be fantastic. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's see how we get on. It's a big, big performance. Hopefully, we can, you know, find our groove here and perform well. That's got to be the aim. And I kind of back us to win this game. Yes, we've had problems against Glenavon in the past. Usually they've come at a point where we're busy and sidetracked by Europe. But right now, this competition is the focus. The league is wrapped up. We are going to be top dogs. These guys here, they are second in command to us in the league. Of course, we want to add to more kind of silverware to our collection. I think we've already won 3 or 4 trophies this year. Granted, that's kind of expected at this part, and it doesn't really mask over the fact that in the Europa League we were disappointing. But well, we've got a chance here. Bannon to Carlisle, who hits it. Worth noting that Carlisle, the youngster, I should have talked about this, but Simon Carlisle here, you'll see he's capped now at Northern Irish international level. With the season kind of being wrapped up, obviously Sissoko has been a regular at centre mid. Because we've only got him on loan to the end of the year, and I don't think I'm going to extend his loan or, you know, a permanent transfer deal beyond that. It's just made more sense to bring back in the youngster Simon Carlisle to play alongside Keith Frame. You know, at this point, everything's kind of wrapped up. There's not a great deal to play for. I want the youngsters who I want in the first team for the future to be the players getting game time. So Sissoko's kind of found himself out of the first team. If I could, I probably would be terminating his loan right now. Anyway, Lynch has just been given a second yellow card, which is a big, well, deal, really. It's their centre mid as well, so that's going to help us a ton. You can see here, they're currently playing without a player on the left, and now they're actually going to switch to a narrower three-man midfield. I do feel like there is something to be exploited there. At half-time, though, it remains 0-0. They have given us a pretty good game. I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy. It's not been a match full of chances, has it? We've had 73% of possession without doing a great deal with it. With them being a man down, I'm actually going to switch us to be more attacking in this half, to play on the front foot, you know, be a little bit less, I guess, restricted and chained in our decision-making and our tactics. But, well, you wouldn't know they're a man down at the moment. Of course, as the game goes on, their legs are going to tire. We've had a lot of the possession here. We've made them chase it a lot. They probably could be relatively happy, though, at the hour mark to be in this game still. Lil here with a set piece. Blocked. Second ball in. Bannon's there. Headed away by Morris. Only as far as Carlisle. Worth noting, they are still sticking with 2 strikers despite the sending off. You know, a lot of teams at playing a 4-4-2 get a man sent off. They'll switch to a 4-4-1. I've got to commend the positivity that Glenavon have had, but it could prove to be their downfall as the ball is whipped in here. All the way over to Lil, who should be able to get a ball into the box. He does, right there, off the crossbar. Rebound, blocked, deflected. It finds the back of the net somehow. It's not pretty, but it is practical, and it's what we need, and it comes just before the hour mark. If we've got to 60 minutes gone, you start to worry a little bit. Your palms start to sweat, thinking, oh, maybe this is just one of those days. But no, Justin Wright, 29th goal of the season for him. It's not pretty, is it? It's barely trickled over the line, but it is a goal. It could prove crucial. Hopefully we can build off that. We are still going to get the demand more team shout in there. Of course, we have got options on the bench. Lil has just been sent off. What are you doing, Lil? I was thinking about taking Lil off. I was thinking, we've got Dixon, we've got Glendinning. We can change things around here. With that sending off in mind, I am going to change things. I'm going to bring in Kenny Dixon to play out on the right. We are going to be lacking that kind of linchpin in the centre. So just to kind of help with that a little, I'm going to switch Carlisle to be advanced playmaker on support and swap him with Frame. Carlisle, of course, as I mentioned, he's broken into the national team. Very good kind of tireless defensive midfielder, but not the best creative force. Frame, on the other hand, 17 vision, 12 passing, not got the flair. You know, he's not going to do anything crazy with the ball, but he can definitely do a job for us. In fact, I might bring in Glendining there just to get some fresh legs on. I think we will. I was thinking that with the sending off, we might have to ditch the centre attack in mid, but we're going to stick with it. I do feel like our system still works well with this formation, so I'm not too concerned as McCoy does a shot that hits the woodwork. Of course, it is still a 1-goal game, so with 23 minutes left, complacency can't afford to slip in, but we've had 70% of the ball in this match. We have been rampant in possession. 17 shots. The fact that we've only had 4 on target is almost criminal, really. Kieran Kane here goes to Dixon, who of course has come on for the sent-off Lil, and well into the box, just in right, lovely header, in off the post. Another goal from that cross on the right-hand side. It's a bit of deja vu. Again, it's not a super satisfying goal to see go in, but it's hit the woodwork. It's crept just about over the line. I thought for a second maybe the post was going to deny us and it was going to go out, but no, it just gets over the line. You can see here, barely touching the back of the net, the actual effort. We'll take it though. Dixon having an immediate impact off the bench, which is great to see. Defensively, you can see here by the average ratings, we've been great. If we can keep a clean sheet now, fantastic. And well, we're on the attack again, and we're playing better almost since we've had the sending off. Kane whips it in right for the hat-trick. Blocked this time. That was a clear-cut chance as well. He's going to be wanting that hat-trick. A few times Justin Wright has got to the 2-goal total, but then he's come up short. Maybe today can be the day. We've got one more change we can do. In terms of what I want to do, I think we'll just bring in Jim Meister for Carlisle. Jim Meister, of course, a player who was captain last year for us, has really seen his spot in the team lost just with the addition of Sissoko and, of course, just the general improvement of our younger centre midfielders. But he is quite a smart footballer, and in this kind of game, if it was closer, he's the kind of player who I think you could bring on with 20 minutes left, and that intelligence would shine through. You know, he'd know how to kill off the game. We're still looking, of course, for Wright's hat-trick. A third goal for anyone would be superb. Jim Meister to Kane, crosses it in. Dixon's there, 1 assist already. Keeper, what a save that was by Miller in goal. Fair play. Hit with power and true. Parried wide, crossed this time to the back post. Robert Downey with the header, gets cleared as far as Glendining. Now with Dixon, crosses it again back post. I mean, Robert Downey is not there anymore. He's retreated back, but he is going to be involved. I mean, it's kind of interesting here. They've ditched the extra striker since going a goal down. 4 minutes of extra time here. 3.5 minutes on the clock. I mean, I want the clean sheet still, boys, please. Let's not concede here. Also, no more sendings off. We don't really need them. Glendining gives it to Kieran Kane. Wright wants his hat-trick. He's stood there. He's screaming for it. Dixon brings the ball forward. Goes to Cyborg. Should be able to get the ball in. It's an own goal by Gary Marsh. I mentioned the fact he had a mare previously. He's done it again. He's forgotten that he's made the transfer away from LARNE 3 years ago. And he's come up trumps again for us. It's an awkward own goal. In some ways, I feel like Justin Wright deserves the credit here because he almost forces the error out. And, well, we are playing very well in this game. And ultimately, although it didn't necessarily always feel like it, we are going to run out comfortable and confident winners here. 3-0 on the night. Glenavon, pretty disappointing. And, well, what can you say? It's exactly what we needed, isn't it? Because after the disappointment of the last live com, I wanted us to, well, find our feet, get in a groove. And we've kind of done that in the league and wrapping up the title. But I was worried that we could potentially bottle things here. Right, he does get his hat-trick. It was never in doubt. Okay, I might have doubted him quite a bit, but he's got it. Glendining with the assist as well. Right, surging on through, tucks the ball home. It's his 31st of the year. Glendining, he knows that Wright wants the hat-trick. He bursts through, and, well, he's going to just tuck it into the bottom corner here. Lovely finish. And that's going to be all she wrote. Mackay, actually, another one of our former players, gives it to Maguire. Just blow the whistle, ref. We don't need to concede now. 4-0. It finishes. The result we wanted. It does mean next episode, episode 60, the end of season livecom, will be that cup final, which I will hopefully see you guys for. I do hope you've enjoyed today's video. Good little result, you know, obviously nice to get back to winning ways, at least in live commentaries. A little bit of money acquired there as well. And, well, another thing I forgot to mention, we've had a youth intake. Everyone was rubbish. I mean, you can see them here. The pick of the bunch, probably David Byrne. Yeah, the pick of the bunch. This. And on that note, we'll end on a low now. It was such a good episode. There had to be some bad news. There's the bad news for you. I'll see you guys next time for episode 60. Thank you for watching. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.